because gardening often, unfortunately, involves addressing the weed situation. I will be addressing the weed situation in my home as well. But how do you do it? You know, are you getting out a knife? Are you getting out the edge of some scissors? Are you trying to, you know, get a wrench or a screwdriver and get in between things? Well, this is the easier way, and it's called Nisaku. It is a stainless steel weeder. It has a 4-foot wooden handle, so no more on your hands and knees. And I'll tell you, where I live, they do have these little, you know, our kind of sidewalks are bricks.
Bricks
so
and pavers.
Bricks and pavers. And so I see this everywhere. And like basically, did you come to my yard and film this? Because these are the weeds in my yard, honey. So this is Nancy Brandmueller. She brings us great ideas. This is under $50 and 4 easy payments of $12.44. This is something that is kind of an age-old way of doing something that still plagues us to this day, done by Nisaku. Can you tell us who Nisaku is?
Sure. Nisaku is a company that's out of Japan, and as you know, think of Japanese gardens and all the precision that's involved in that. Part of that is because they have wonderful tools. And Nisaku is known for their blades. This is a stainless steel blade that is very narrow. You'll see right here that it's very narrow, and that's meant, let me see, get that angle. And it's also corrugated, so that's meant to get in between the pavers and the bricks and everything. But also, it's angled perfectly, and it's got this 4-foot handle, so it's going to get into your weeds, whether they're in your flower bed or whether they're in your grass. And I'd love to show you how to use it.
Yeah, I'd love to see how to use it.
Okay, so what I do when I take it out into my garden is I find the weed, let's say it's in my grass or my flower bed, and I'm gonna poke this kind of pointy end in right there because that's what's going to get down into the soil. Now, if your soil is hard, we've got kind of, you know, fake little garden here, but to just show you, I can push down with my foot to get into the soil depending on how tough your soil is, and then I'm going to lever backwards and I'm going to pop that weed out. And that's what that long handle is very helpful for. You want to get those roots because you don't want to be going through with one of those weed whackers that just gets everything on the top, because guess what?
What?
A couple of days later they're coming back. And especially in the beginning of the gardening season, the weeds are the ones that are going to come up first, and they're going to be choking out your flowers that you're planting. So you want to get rid of these so they're not stealing nutrients and water from your flowers.
And so think about what you're not doing. What I'm not doing is what, Miss Nancy?
Not bending over.
Thank you.
Now, we've got an elevated bed.
Sure,
but if
of course.
this is in my garden, I'm just pushing in. Maybe I'm using my foot a little bit. I'm reaching backwards, and I can actually even kind of just pop it out like this, just right on top of it, and toss it. I'm trying not to dirty up the studio, so I'm bending over to lift that up. But then also in my pavers and maybe in your back patio, I'm able to get in between here with this really nice thin corrugated edge. And I'm not just getting the tops of them, I'm getting them out by the roots. If I have moss growing on top of my pavers, I'm just scraping that right off of the top. So I'm not using my butter knife, my screwdriver, not getting on my hands
and you know what? Here is my deal, the dreaded like dandelion or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, how do I get that root? How do I get that tap root out? And you definitely want to use this to do that. The other thing about it is, you know, Nancy, I'm 5'9", so I could either, you know, get down on my hands and knees, which I have a whole kind of side walkway that is done with these pavers, and then I am down on my hands and knees and trying to get in there. And by the way, sometimes that little screwdriver, the face is, you know, it's not narrow enough. I love how narrow this is. And then talk to us again about what the corrugated part does here.
Great. So I'm going to show you this corrugated part right here. That's going to help grab the weeds. If it was just straight, it would be just kind of slicing them. But because it's got this corrugated, kind of like those corrugated roofs you see sort of on sheds and so forth, as well as just that really narrow blade, it's going to get right in between here and grab those roots. And so then you can just kind of get it right out. And you don't have to worry about, you know, seeing, like some people will use sprays, so if you have pets or small children, you don't want to be using the sprays. Plus then you've got to go back and you got all that dead stuff lying there. So now you're able to just get it right out of the pavers.
Here's the video. It's M55625. That's your item number. Share with us what we're seeing here again, if somebody's just joining us.
Okay, sure. This is a Nisaku weeder that's got a 4-foot handle. And the nice thing is, too, it's also a varnished handle, so you don't have that rough edge of many tools. You can also kind of use that hatcheting action to kind of chop away at some of the really dense weeds and then go down and get the roots. I also love being able to use this to kind of loosen up the soil when you're starting your gardening, but look at how easily it just cleans those out. And oh, this is the magic.
Yes.
Right there, getting into those spaces, whether it's moss or weeds or bits of grass that kind of grow in there. You know, they always tend to gravitate from your lawn, and they go in and they get in between all those spaces you don't want them. There it is, just chopping away those really big weeds. If you've gone on vacation, sometimes you come back and this is what you find. You know, how do they start growing so quickly? But it just does such a great job. And again, I was mentioning this varnished handle. This is 4 feet long. So many times when you go to the garden stores, the handles are not smooth like this. They're rough wood, they're just kind of plain, and then they end up splintering.
Here's the other thing I want to ask is there a way, is there like a front side and a back side? Is there a way you're supposed to use this? Because I see that one is kind of curved a little up, right? Or it's not, like it's not completely straight down.
It isn't completely straight down. And the reason for that is when you're using it, if you're right-handed, you're going to use it like this to scrape the top if you've got like that moss on there. But if you're left-handed, okay, I'm gonna do it as if I'm left-handed, then I just turn it this way, okay?
I
So
like that,
the point is always gonna be kind of out forward.
Got it, okay.
So no matter which way I'm doing it, put that point out forward. I want to show you another trick. This is what I started doing in my yard. So I have crabgrass growing in my yard. And so I'm just going to take that point and I'm going to put it on top, like in the middle, like this. And then I'm going to turn around, spin it like this. Then I've loosened it. Then I can go in and I can get rid of it. So that's how you're going to use it in your garden, especially like you've got that crabgrass growing in. Get things before they get big. You handle the trouble early, so you don't have, problems early, problems often, weeds early, weeds often. Take care of it in the beginning.
Oh my heavens, this is the coolest thing ever.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
Again,
I appreciate it.
Remember, it's called the Nisaku. It is a 4-foot wooden handle weeder. It's a weeder that all of a sudden you're not spraying, you're not on your hands and knees, you're not using scissors or a knife, a butter knife, and you're not using some sort of a screwdriver to kind of get in the middle at all. You're doing something that we all have to do, and you're doing it in the easiest way possible. And 55625, and we are going to see Nancy a little bit later, aren't we? Nope, is that this? This is it for the day. So you know what we are going to see, though, Susan Butterworth, was something that I